Have you seen this dust-up created by the media about Ron DeSantis not taking Vice President Harris's call in relation to the tropical storm, hurricanes? It is one of those examples of something that's totally made up. And of course, she says, well, DeSantis is just playing politics. Well, let me ask you about that, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the same time frame in which she was on the Call Her Daddy podcast, The View, The Howard Stern Show, and having a beer with Stephen Colbert. But her boss said he was in contact with DeSantis, who was doing a really good job, and even gave DeSantis his personal phone number. DeSantis, on the other hand, says we never had a call from her before, and she has nothing to do with the process. So you tell me who's politicizing this. You know, the Democrats have this old saying that goes way back, is never let an opportunity to politicize a disaster go by. And that seems to be what Kamala's doing here. Hey, if you don't mind, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This really helps us grow the channel. But take a look at what Kamala had to say, and note that she didn't say she made any phone calls. And what DeSantis had to say on the Hannity show. It's really, really interesting.
Being in North Carolina, which she and Joe abandoned. It is the worst hurricane to hit the Southeast since Katrina, and they have been missing in action. They haven't lifted a finger to help, and now suddenly she's pretending to care and says this. Take a look.
NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Make no mistake, Hurricane Helene is Kamala's Katrina. Joining us now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is with us on the latest on preparation. All right, I saw the statement from your office. Number one, you did not hear about a call from Kamala. You would have taken the call, you said. I had you on my radio and TV show before Helene hit. You told me, and I had Governor Kemp on, and he told me, in your case, you had 30,000 utility trucks staged to go in right after the hurricane. You had food, water, medicine, supplies ready to go right in behind the hurricane. As usual, I'm assuming you have the same thing for Milton. Am I wrong, Governor?
No, you're right. And Hurricane Helene was a Category 4 storm. It did significant damage to the state of Florida. We've been on this footing now for 2 weeks straight in terms of preparation response. And now we have an even bigger storm that's bearing down, as you pointed out, on a very populated area, potentially could do even more damage. And we've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No, and here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this, I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games, and so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
You know, you had properly staged. You are ready for Milton. You have all the utility trucks, you have food, you have water, you have supplies, all staged, all ready to come in right behind the hurricane, as you always do. Governor Kemp, same thing. Governor McMaster, same thing. They have been missing in action. It took FEMA nearly an entire week to get to the people in North Carolina, and we still don't know the death count in North Carolina. It is the worst, to me, response ever in the history of hurricanes in this country, Governor. And for her to be going on a Stern, Colbert, The View, Call Me Daddy, instead of being in North Carolina is unconscionable.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sean. We're going to handle this incoming storm. It is right now much more powerful than what Helene was. And we'll see. They say it's going to weaken before it hits, but we can't assume that. So this has the potential to be one of the most damaging storms in the history of our country. And can we not just focus on the livelihoods and the well-being of the people? Why is she trying to politicize this? Why is she putting her campaign ahead of the well-being of the people of Florida? We're laser focused on their well-being. This is going to be a massive effort. There's going to be things we're going to have to respond to that we've probably never had to respond in this kind in the history of our state. And we're going to do it. And we're going to keep our eye on the ball. And we're not going to let her nonsense distract us from the task at hand.